2-1 win Real Madrid versus Mallorca at the Santiago Bernabeu match day 3 in La Liga EA Sports with a goal from Vinicius and another goal, and of course a goal from Ricky, just as I predicted. So in this video I'm going to do a short review of Real Madrid's game versus Mallorca, and just like how we do it every day, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, and then let's dive straight into it. In this video, I'm going to talk about the overall performance of the team, both in the first half and in the second half. I'm going to rate each player one after the other, from the goalkeeper through to the striker, and then also I'm going to talk about the most outstanding player and then the player that had the worst performance in Real Madrid's game versus Mallorca. Even though we won, yes, there were some performances that were so awful, and we have to talk about them. So basically that is what this video is just about. So let me just begin. So with our performance in the first half, I think the first 15 minutes was a very good one for me. I was very impressed with the whole team, from the strikers to the defense. I think our defense is good. We are locked in with the defense, the two full-backs, powerful Trent and then Alvaro Carreras. Then at the centre backs, Dean House and Militao. Even though Dean House didn't really have a good game yesterday, it was just one of those games that he didn't really perform well. Aside his assist, well, it was a fair enough performance for Dean Housen, and so it was good in the first 15 minutes until Ricky scored a goal, and thank goodness we went for that cooling break. And then I don't know what Xabi Alonso told the players, but right after that we were able to respond with 2 goals. I didn't even finish celebrating Adagula's goal, and then Vinicius' goal had come in. That should tell you how the players are able to listen swiftly to the coach and then just put whatever they've had into action for us to just put that comeback in just that few minutes. And so yes, in the first 15 minutes, but after Muriki's goal, it was a bit dicey. It was like the whole team was falling apart again. And as I said, I'm happy with the clean break, we being able to respond quickly. The second half wasn't too good because in the midfield there were a lot of spaces, and if you had met a bigger team, they would have taken advantage of that. And then I found some problems in the game. Even though Adagula was good yesterday, there were some misplaced passes. It was passing to the back instead of progressing with the ball. And then with Franco Mastantuono, he's good off the ball with attacking, with the pace, but then his decision makings are very, very poor, with a whole lot of possession loss. And then I thought Vinicius Jr. could have gotten a lot more goals than just one, because his finishing, there was a problem with his finishing in some of the balls he had. I felt like he could have gotten a goal. He wasn't able to convert those chances into a goal. And then on Mbappe's side, the offside trap, I don't know if it's a trap or the offsides. It felt like last season against Barcelona, Real Madrid, the offsides were too much. Yesterday we had 2 goals disallowed because of offside, and he deserved the goal yesterday, but well, it is what it is. Another goalless goal was also ruled out. So I feel like yesterday the team generally could have performed better, but it is what it is. The most important thing is that we won the game. The most important thing is that we have the 3 points, and the most important thing is in the first 3 games under Xabi Alonso's era at Real Madrid, 9-9 and heading into the international break. Xabi Alonso said he's not happy with the international break because he wants to keep the team as together as possible. But this is football and international break. The players have to go and serve their countries as well. Now I'm going to have to rate the players one after the other. My predicted lineup, the lineup was almost the same as Xabi Alonso's lineup versus Mallorca. The only thing that was different, or the only person that was different, was the Brahim Diaz was out, and then Franco Mastantuono was out. Personally, I was expecting Brahim Diaz to start, because if now Rodrigo is going to be competing for the left wing with Vinicius Jr., it means the right wing is left to be competed with Brahim Diaz and Franco Mastantuono. So left to me alone, I think Brahim should start, because it's from the past games, it feels like Franco Mastantuono is not ready. He's actually a very good player, but coming from South America straight to Europe, it will take some time for him to adapt. Let's look at the lives of the other players that came from South America to Europe. They took some time to adapt, so I feel like we are kind of giving pressure to the kid by starting him, and that is why I predicted Brahim Diaz to start and then Franco Mastantuono coming off later. But well, that is it. It is what it is. Yesterday that was the lineup. Mastantuono started ahead of Brahim Diaz, and so I'm going to have to rate from the back. I'm going to give Courtois a 7.2. that is the rating I'm going to give him. Then at the defense, I'm going to take from Trent to Militao, Dinhausen, and then Alvaro Carreras. With Trent, I'm going to give him a solid 8.6. I'm sure you're going to ask me why am I giving him 8.6. I don't know if it's because he got benched and then Carvajal played the previous game, that is the game against Osasuna, but it looks like yesterday Trent actually came to work. You got to look at those passes he passed to Kylian Mbappe, and even defensively he was good. Imagine having a fullback that is good both defensively and then offensively. Sometimes you see him inverting, sometimes he overlapped, which I didn't like, but well, it is what it is. I was so impressed with his performance. Trent is proving to everyone that yes, of course, he is Real Madrid standard and he deserves to be in the starting lineup. So yesterday with Trent's performance, it was very good. I like it so much. And then talking of Militao, I'm going to give Militao a 7. I don't have a lot to talk too much. I feel like our defense is locked in, is actually very good. We have improved in past games, and then we've improved from our defense last season, and so I'm just going to give him a 7. Then with Dinhausen, I also have to give Dinhausen a 7 as well. Yesterday I wasn't too impressed with Dinhausen's performance because I felt like he could have done better, but he got an assist. I don't want to say maybe it's just one of the days in football that you don't play too much or you don't show up too much. It wasn't a really bad game, but it was a fair game enough, and that is why I am going to give him a 7. Now with my man of the match, Alvaro Carreras. Holy Jesus. Alvaro Carreras is one of those players that if you're not careful, you're not going to give them the accolades they deserve. Personally, it's like the expectations for Alvaro Carreras was low. Nobody really felt like he was a big signing. He didn't really have the hype around players like Trent, around players like Mbappe, around players like even Mastantuono. Yeah, I feel like he was just one of those guys that was coming to Real Madrid to perform that Fran Garcia Mendy or something like that. But I'm actually very impressed with Alvaro Carreras from yesterday's game. Over the past 3 games, bro, I've seen that this player, he is actually very good defensively. He is what he is supposed to be at the right time. Yesterday, look at that clearance. Look at that underline clearance, bro. We would have joined the match. We would have actually joined the match, and that clearance reminds me of Mendy's clearance in 2022 in Real Madrid's UCL game versus Manchester City. I mean, it's a clearance that my heart skipped a bit because basically that was a goal that was actually going in if he had not stepped in to do the last minute clearance. And so Alvaro Carreras, I'm going to give him a 9.6. Fantastic player, good talent, position on points, everything on points. Then to the midfield, I'm not so much impressed with our midfield. I don't know if we are missing the absence of Jude Bellingham, but the midfield was not too good. Tchouaméni as DM, well, I'm going to give Tchouaméni a 7.6. Valverde, I'm going to give Valverde also a 7. Then with Arda Güler, I'm going to have to give him 8.3. At the beginning stages of the game, Arda Güler wasn't impressing me that much because I feel like he has potential. He can actually do better. But what I've seen, it's well enough for the first phase of the season. Our first 3 games, good enough. And since we won the game, he even got a goal. And so that is a fair point to give him 8.3. At some point in time, I don't know whether he had problems with the passing. He had the ball most often, but at some point in time, the back passes were too much. But we're going to take it like that. And then I'm going to give Arda Güler an 8.3. Then to the forwards, Vinicius Jr., Kylian Mbappe, Franco Mastantuono. So let me start from the left wing, that is Vinicius Jr. It is very clear now that gradually we are getting back the Vinicius Jr. that we used to know, even though it's too early to make that call, because Vinicius Jr. has set up a standard for himself that we will have to hold him accountable for that. And so I'm going to give Vinicius an 8.9. Is it an 8.9 or 8.9? 8.9, yes. And then I feel like Vinicius Jr. could have gotten more goals. Possibly 2 or 3 more goals. But it looks like at a point in time, his finishes weren't that good. It was like the first season or second season Vinicius Jr. who was still struggling to make decisions in the final third. And so that is it for Vinicius Jr. I'm looking to see some form of consistency after the international break. He's not even going for the international break because Carlo Ancelotti did not call him to the Brazil NC, and that is good for me. I'm very happy about that because he's going to have a time to train for himself and then improve himself as a player. Then with Kylian Mbappe, well, he deserved the goal yesterday, of course. Good player, even though he had no goal yesterday and I missed the offside. I think it's good. He's actually improving game by game, and I don't know, there's even nothing to improve about because this is Kylian Mbappe, man. And I think the only thing we have to address is the position. I don't know how the offside trap keeps getting into the offside trap because he has to check in his positions. In some games we can't afford to get this goals ruled out. It's going to go against us, especially let's look at something like in a UCL knockout game and you got to be getting 2 offsides in a game, 2 goals that are ruled out because of offside. You can't do that. So that is the only thing I think Mbappe should improve on. But with his pressing, with his control, with his speed, everything is still on point, and I'm going to give Mbappe an 8.4. So with Franco Mastantuono, I've seen lots of stuff on social media, X, TikTok, Facebook, and then on YouTube as well concerning Franco Mastantuono, and I think most of what people are saying, I also align with that. I feel like we are giving this kid pressure. This kid just came from South America, and I think according to Xabi Alonso, he is a player that he wanted to bring to just start right away. But from the past 3 games, you can see clearly, the 2 games that he started, you can see clearly that the kid still has a lot to learn. He's giving more of Hendrik's first season vibes at Real Madrid. He still has a lot to learn. He's not really too strong on the ball. A lot of misplaced passes, decision makings are so poor. And it's not to say he's a bad player. Watching him in River play at 17, incredible player. But you know, as they always say, South America football is quite different from European football, and the kid's gonna need time to sit in and then so adjust. I don't know if it's because the other players that are 18 that are performing so well in Europe. Well, they've been in Europe for some time now, so I don't know if it's because of that people want to give the kid pressure. But I feel like with time, it's going to come. With time, he's going to learn stuff about European football, and he's going to do fantastically well at the right wing. But me personally, as I predicted last time, I wished Ibrahim Diaz started ahead of Franco Mastantuono. But well, probably we'll see what Xabi Alonso is going to do after the international break and after the return of Jude Bellingham. And so that is it. So basically that's all I have to say about Real Madrid's game versus Mallorca. This is just the first phase. As Xabi said, it's more like our preseason. Our season is about to begin at the end of the international break, where we have big matches, UCL games. Sometimes you're even going to be playing 3 games in a week. And so I'm hoping to see a lot more action from the boys. It's like they're still trying to adapt with the new coach, still trying to adapt with the new system. And I think it's going to take time before the team reach a full potential and the team become that fierce Real Madrid that everyone knows across the world. And so in overall, I'm going to rate the team 8.5 for winning the game, and then for conceding just 1, and then for taking the 3 points home. So this brings us to the end of this episode of Adele Talks Real Madrid. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also leave a comment in the comment section what you think about the players in Mbappe, Vinicius, Adagule, Mastantuono. Leave a comment in the comment section, and also set the notifications on so that when I post a video, you'll be the first to see. What's the last thing to say? Hala Madrid.